Why do you think that throughout your career you have continued to be accused of excessive force?
I think I'm very proactive, and I think I'm involved in a lot more scenes and incidents.
It would be hard to find a police officer in Melvindale more polarizing than Lieutenant Matthew Furman. In his 12 years on the job, he's been promoted and celebrated, suspended and criminally charged, fired and brought back.
Do you have the temperament to be a police officer?
I do.
A lot of people don't think so. Some people in your own department, in fact.
And I've had a lot of people tell me I'm a great police officer.
The slew of allegations against him that he adamantly denies can be found in citizen complaints, lawsuits, police reports, and depositions. Like in 2016, when Furman pulled over a mother driving her 2 small children. Her vehicle had no car insurance, and Furman ordered her car towed. Instead of letting the woman wait for her ride, she said, Furman dragged her out of her car and onto the ground, forcing her over the vehicle's hood, all in front of her children. Furman would be suspended for 3 days, but the suspension was later overturned by the Public Safety Commission. Just a few months after that, he would detain a robbery suspect who said Furman slammed his head into the police car while he was handcuffed. A lieutenant reported that he witnessed this and told the man he would not sweep that incident under the rug. Another officer there said under oath that Furman went way over the line and split the man's head open. Furman told us he didn't cause the injury at all. It was the people the man was stealing from. He said the 2 officers didn't see what they thought they saw.
They were both lying.
I'm not going to call them liars, but I'm going to say their perspective was probably off.
Okay.
Because they were halfway down the block.
Furman says that an outside investigation cleared him of any misconduct and that he ultimately faced no discipline.
Prosecutors say a Melvindale police sergeant completely mishandled a call here in this neighborhood.
In 2019, Furman would be charged by Wayne County's prosecutor, accused of assault after he responded to a disorderly conduct complaint. While there, an intoxicated man would accuse Furman of throwing him down a flight of stairs.
The defendant used coarse language, threw a food bowl across a kitchen.
Furman again denied the charges, saying the man fell on his own. The prosecutor would dismiss the assault charge in exchange for Furman pleading no contest to willful neglect of duty. He would be fired over the incident, but an arbitrator overturned his termination, saying the city offered no concrete evidence that Furman threw the man down the stairs.
Watch his door.
2 years later, Furman was part of a high-speed police chase. The suspect had stolen a vehicle, police said, after striking an officer. And after his vehicle crashed, he fled on foot before officers surrounded him. As officers tried to subdue the man, a Dearborn officer's body cam caught Furman repeatedly stomping on the man's leg as multiple officers look on.
Cameras all around, guys.
A Dearborn officer would report Officer Furman's force to Melvindale PD. Furman said the man was resisting officers as they tried to handcuff him, so he used the stomps as a form of pain compliance. Furman was not disciplined.
I'm very hardworking. I'm very proactive. And if you are proactive and you're hardworking, you are going to get more complaints.
But these aren't just complaints coming from citizens. These are, in some cases, complaints coming from other officers in your department, officers in other departments, your chief in some cases. That's not typical, is it?
I don't know.
In the last year, we've had 3 officers from Melvindale involved in a shooting.
Faisal Manassar has been a motor carrier officer in Melvindale for the last 8 years and says attacks against law enforcement, like the one that claimed the life of Officer Mohammed Saeed last July, influences how Furman does his job. He and a number of officers we spoke with said Furman is by the book.
Comes to work, works hard, protects our city that I live in, and tries to get crime out of here. You know, I got nothing but respect for him.
But Melvindale's own mayor said the lieutenant can be his own worst enemy.
Do you think he understands de-escalation?
Oh, no, I don't. I feel like in the heat of the moment, he needs to learn how to put aside anger and just do his job.
When we talked to her last month, she said Furman belongs at a desk rather than on the street, that at least one lieutenant in the department doesn't want to respond to calls with Furman, concerned that they'll end in trouble.
When you have other officers saying that they don't want to respond to calls with him, that can potentially cause a problem.
Cooperate!
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Cooperate!
Furman's latest brush with controversy would take place back in July.
He did that in broad daylight, in front of neighbors, people, 2 kids.
What happened to Drakkar Williams is being investigated tonight by Michigan State Police. It happened on a day last July when Lieutenant Matthew Furman stopped Williams for driving around traffic barricades.
You have a driver's license?
I don't. My mother actually just got in an accident.
Do you have a license?
It's at the house.
To be clear, Williams should not have been behind the wheel. His driver's license was suspended. The vehicle he was driving had no valid insurance. And when Lieutenant Furman asked for his name, Williams would provide a fake one.
Go and step out of the car for me.
And why am I stepping
Because
out
you're
the car?
refusing to provide information.
I gave you my
asked
name.
your middle name. That is relevant. You're refusing to provide it.
A second officer makes the scene as Williams is told more than once to get out of the vehicle. That's Williams' girlfriend in the passenger seat, and her 2 small children, ages 2 and 5, are watching from the back.
Step out of the vehicle now.
Yes.
Next thing is you get tasered. Get out of the car. All you got to do is comply. When a police officer gives you a lawful order, you're required to follow it. When a police officer asks for your information, your name, you don't have a legal right to provide a fake name.
According to multiple current and retired police officers who reviewed the circumstances of the stop for 7 News Detroit, Williams was arrestable for driving on a suspended license. But what troubled every officer we showed this video to is what happened next.
Turn around, hands on the roof.
Can you tell him to calm? Can you tell? I'm not
I
doing
said
that.
hands on the roof.
Sir, listen, my
Stop or you will get tasered.
My hands are.
When I tell you to do something, you do it. End of story.
Williams' hands are on the roof of the car as Furman's partner holds his right hand and shoulder.
That is hot.
Okay.
Relax, hot. Relax. I'm not.
Hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers.
Can you please do that?
Hands behind your back.
You do it. He got me.
Turn
He
around.
got me. He has me. He has me.
He dry stunned me from everywhere, from my arms, my legs, my butt. He wouldn't stop.
Cooperate.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
Cooperate.
What am I? I'm not doing nothing.
Furman would later say he continued to use his taser on Williams because he believed he tried to grab it. Williams says he never did.
You take up. Stop. Wait.
Stop.
I'm not doing nothing.
Stop.
I'm not. You. What am I doing? You take.
Stop moving.
Don't move. Who's not going to move when they getting tasered 10, 11 times?
We don't know if he's got a weapon. We don't know what's on his person. I don't know what's in his mind. I don't know his criminal history yet.
After Williams was subdued, Furman turned his attention to his female passenger, whose children remained in the back seat.
Get out of the car now! Get out of the car! Step out of the car! Turn around, hands on the hood! Hands on the roof! Step over here. Step over here. You're being detained right now.
I'm being detained. I'm trying to make somebody. I have to.
Sit down and shut the up!
Lieutenant Furman would later say that the woman posed a threat while seated in the vehicle and needed to be detained. Afterwards, Furman continues to argue with Williams, who's now in handcuffs.
And then you wouldn't get out of the car. And then you wouldn't put your hands
Did I
on your
not
back.
get out the car?
It's on video, retard.
You did. You a retard.
Yeah.
Furman heads to his vehicle, determines Williams' real name, and runs it through his computer.
You got a revoked license, so you should have been behind the wheel. You got a ton of warrants. And now you got obstructing and resisting and everything else.
You gonna lose your badge.
I ain't gonna lose but you're gonna lose your freedom because you get to go to jail today, mother.
After Williams stands up, another officer sits him back down. And then, with Williams still wearing handcuffs, Lieutenant Furman does this.
You will not get up without our permission.
Man,
Sit the down.
I am sitting down. You pulling my hair.
Throwing my head against a fire truck while I'm in handcuffs, I can't do nothing. I'm helpless.
Today, Drakkar Williams is facing a slew of charges, including resisting arrest, providing false information to a police officer, and driving on a revoked license. At the same time, Michigan State Police and Melvindale Police are investigating Furman's actions for possible criminal and internal charges.
It's under investigation at this time, and it will be continued to be investigated and thoroughly done.
My priority is doing whatever I have to do to go home. And if that means somebody gets tasered, then somebody's getting tasered. But I'm going home to my family and my friends. That's my #1 goal.
I reached out to Furman's 3 past police chiefs for comment on this story. Each of them declined. One of them, Chad Hayes, claimed in a lawsuit that he tried to rein Furman in as chief and lost his job as a result. Hayes said Furman engaged in repeated incidents of police brutality, but that he was discouraged from holding him accountable because of the significant revenue he generated by towing vehicles. Furman denied that, and in his own lawsuit against Melvindale, claimed the chief retaliated against him because he favored a different towing company. Both lawsuits settled out of court. Since July, Furman has been on administrative leave with the department. The day after Drakkar Williams' arrest, Furman was one of the first officers to respond to the shooting of Officer Mohammed Saeed, who was killed by a gunman. Furman says he's been receiving counseling ever since. He is also on administrative leave while his conduct from the Williams stop is being investigated by MSP. Furman, we should add, has withdrawn his 2019 no contest plea from his criminal case. I'm Ross Jones, 7 News Detroit.